guys, welcome to Collider Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Ashley Mova, and this is the daily show we give you all the latest news from the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Leading off the show today is John Campea.
Well, greetings and most heartfelt salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, coming to you from right here at the Collider Video Studios here in Burbank, California, and we are so glad you decided to make us part of your day.
Also here is Mark Ellis.
Hey, Ashley.
Hi, Mark! Also here's Jeremy Jahns.
That's right, Ashley Mova. Here I am, here to talk
He's been doing
movies.
this all morning.
Hello,
I don't know
ladies.
why.
I might talk like this the entire time.
Why are you so silent? It kind of sounds creepy. Also here, Kristian Harloff.
2 coffees did nothing.
I guess, well, it's Monday. Let's get this week kicked off right. Ashley, what's up first?
Well, the Merc with the Mouth made his triumphant return this past weekend when a Deadpool 2 teaser played before screenings of Logan. Featuring Ryan Reynolds spoofing Superman, the scene is nearly 4 minutes long and was released Saturday morning by Ryan Reynolds via his Twitter account. Though the video is obviously a tease for Deadpool 2, there is still no official word on a release date for the movie. John, what do you think about the teaser for Deadpool 2?
Well, I mean, it's weird because the terminology, it's not really a teaser because it had nothing to do with the movie, really, but then what do you call it? I mean, maybe it's a short, maybe it's like that one Punisher Dirty Laundry thing or something like that. What name did they give this thing again?
As Ken Knapsack would say, it's a comedy skit.
No good deed.
No good deed, right, is what they call it. I wasn't thrilled with it. I mean, it was cool seeing him on there again. Here's part of the problem. So I had already seen Logan at a press screening, right? So Saturday morning, Ann hadn't seen it yet, so we went to a theater to see it. And I already saw Logan, so I know what the tone and everything in the movie is. So then when they play this thing in front of me, I was like, this does not fit with this. I mean, it's better to play it before Logan than, say, tag it on in an after credits thing. That would have been totally out of place. But because I'd already seen Logan, I'm like, this doesn't really fit. But beyond that, I didn't think the gag was that funny. I mean, the whole idea about a hero taking too long to change the phone booth, I've seen that done before. And then it just kind of dragged out a bit. And you all know how much I freaking love Deadpool. But yeah, for whatever reason, I smiled. I like the little Nathan Summers thing written on the phone booth. That was clever. But I personally, I wanted to love it, but I didn't quite get there. What did you think about it?
I'm with you. I thought it was cool to see him. I thought, the fact that it was a character that I really enjoyed watching come to the big screen. I thought it was a really fun movie, and I can't wait to see the second one.
Yeah, me too.
But I think it was out of place. I think that it would have been cool if it just released on the internet. That would have been pretty cool. But to put it right before Logan, I see to just kind of get it out for more people to see it beforehand. But the tone was so different from Logan. And yeah, the gag itself, it's like, all right, this guy's getting mugged and Deadpool can't help him, and then he's going to eat his fries. It was fun, but it didn't really do anything for me.
Jerry?
Yeah, tonally speaking, I didn't have a problem with it because in Logan, there will be movie theaters that have a trailer somewhere for a comedy before the movie. So to say that this is tonally different, although accurate and correct, that's also to say, well, you can't show a trailer for a comedy before Logan, which I think you can. So like by the time the movie starts, I'm in a different place. I'm like, okay, now it's time for Logan, no longer time for marketing stuff. Although when it first started out, it wasn't pitched as a trailer. So when I saw Deadpool, I was like, oh my God, is he in Logan? I was like, wait until John Campea hears this. We're going to talk about this so much. And then it's totally just a marketing thing. I thought the shtick was funny of him being in the phone booth with the Superman music. There is a part of me that's like, when he's laying down on the dead guy, I'm like, that guy's dead. Like, that guy probably had it. All right, eat his Ben and Jerry's ice cream. I'm sure there's no family grieving for this dude, But in the end, I'm more or less happy with the fact that we are in the Deadpool 2 marketing phase. Yeah. Like, we've now entered that, so that gets me really pumped. The thing cracks me up. I didn't have a problem with it at all. It was dark comedy, but, I like dark comedy.
Good. I'm glad you found some enjoyment. You guys are really being hard on this thing.
I just didn't find it funny.
I found it funny.
Unlike everything else Deadpool does, I didn't find it funny.
Was it the funniest I've ever seen Deadpool? No, but I still think it was fun to see him. I think it was nice that they did this before Logan, and it was something that we had heard rumblings about, that maybe there's going to be a Deadpool 2 teaser, something before Logan, and I was thinking like you guys thought, oh, this is going to feel so out of place. They would never do that right before Logan because it's going to be so tonally different. It didn't bother me at all, and I don't think that
it affected anybody in my theater Thursday night where we're like, oh, well, we were laughing. Now we got to get all serious face. This is too hard for me to make the adjustment. I thought it was fine. And I love the way it started out where you thought it was Logan because it just started on this like wicked, like a post-apocalyptic street corner. We're like, what's happening right now? I thought it was a great bait and switch. I loved all the Easter eggs from the Nathan Summers thing to the Hope Summers thing with written like Trunks DBZ. I thought that was all really cool. So everything about this I liked. It wasn't the funniest gut-busting Deadpool performance of all time, but it was nice to see him again having fun with Logan.
Okay, let's do the fan thing and way overanalyze this.
Okay.
Let's do the fan thing and way overanalyze for a second. You notice how many Firefly posters there were in the background? Any significance? Any kind of little clue that they're putting in there that maybe Nathan Fillion is somehow going to be connected? Again, remember, I'm already admitting this is way. What's
Maybe
that?
it's just a tribute to what's her name that plays Onara.
Yeah, in ours.
Of course. What was I thinking?
Sorry, I
Look at
just
Wendy
busted
over
you
there.
guys' bubble.
No,
Oh.
the
No, that's a great observation. That's exactly what it was.
But Nathan Fillion in a
Miranda
Deadpool
McCarran.
movie, I'm all for. I'm
course.
all for Nathan Fillion in whatever movie he wants to be in.
Yeah, but what do you call those eggs that like you open it, then there's another egg, then you open it, then like they keep getting tinier and tinier?
Russian doll
yeah,
thing?
Yeah. That's what this thing is. This is just one big Easter egg on top of Easter eggs on top of Easter eggs. There's a lot of fan service in here, both pertaining to Deadpool 2 and just like fun stuff that they wanted to put in there. So it's a fun thing to watch over and over again.
I love the fact that we were about to gush and analyze something, and Wendy's over there. She straight up goes, "Or it's because of the
The
actress."
voice
And we're all
of
like,
reason.
"Yeah,
Well, you didn't hear
thanks
the
for
first
crushing
part.
the fun with logic and reason,
Yeah.
Wendy."
Well,
That's not what I'm
Jeremy,
here
you
for.
missed the first part where she went, idiots.
Right? I'm sure she looked over and actually like, "This is highly
We
irregular."
were about to title this video
I-
Nathan
I- I'm
Fillion in
slacking with-
Deadpool 2.
I'm slacking with Ashley and I wrote Hater Corner sitting over there today.
Yeah.
Did you guys like it? No,
Yeah.
she really did. See, there it is, right there.
I liked it. I said, "Mark, you know what? The cheeses do not stand alone."
I don't think anybody hated it. It's like the one thing that you said, that Jeremy, that I totally agree with. It's cool to see that the marketing push is coming back in, but it wasn't like, oh my god, did you guys see that Deadpool that spot? Because that's what had been happening in everything else that they did, whether it was the Bachelor spot that they did last year,
Or the little online things they do.
This was just something that it seemed a little bit kind of predictable, and it didn't seem right to put it there.
You guys are the kids that got the Millennium Falcon every year for Christmas, and then I got you something from G.I. Joe, and you're like, well, it's not Star Wars.
Well, no, but here's the thing though. Like, number one, it's not really a marketing thing. They haven't even started shooting this movie yet. It doesn't even have a release date. So what's the point? It's not really a piece of marketing. So if you just want to put a fun short film
Well, it
before
is marketing, though.
in a way,
if you put it out
But I
there-
mean, there's nothing to market yet, really.
Well, that's true.
So if you just want to put out a fun short film, make it better.
Okay, well,
I
I'm
just found
sorry
as a standalone
I tried to
short,
have
it
fun
wasn't
with
that
our
great.
family this weekend.
All right, fine.
You know what? I would argue that nothing Deadpool 2 does marketing-wise will ever be as good as the first time we saw a marketing push for the first Deadpool, because that's when it was like, oh my gosh, this is happening. Then it happened. Now we have that, and I have the Blu-ray at home. We all have the Blu-ray, so now it's like, oh, Deadpool 2 is happening. That's cool, but it'll never feel as cool as that first time Deadpool 1.
Well, I think once they actually have a movie and then they start marketing it, I will bet, since it's the same geniuses behind it as that were behind the first one, I've got a feeling the marketing for Deadpool 2 is going to be every bit as good as the marketing for Deadpool 1. Okay. Once they actually have a movie to market. That's just what I'm thinking.
You're right over there?
I'm gonna fall asleep. My daughter woke up last night. I was over there all night. Sorry, guys. I'm doing the best I can.
Oh, man. The
All right,
life.
let's move on. What's next?
After canceling a third movie in the Tron franchise after Tron Legacy, THR is reporting that Disney is now rebooting the franchise, with Jared Leto circling the project in a starring and producing role. The studio is in the early stages of development on the movie and using elements from the Tron 3 script, with Leto set to be playing a character named Ayers. A release date has not been set. Jeremy, thoughts on the new reboot for Tron with Jared Leto?
I'd really like for them to use elements from the Tron 1 script if they're rebooting Tron. That would be a good move to do. Like, Tron's a special place in my heart, but I do think that Tron could benefit from having a Tron story, a remake told with today's technology. That said, I'm happy that it's happening. I'm happy Jared Leto's in it, but I'm always that person like, Jared Leto's the greatest pick for the Joker, and now here we are. Not that I think he was bad as the Joker, but I am excited to see a new updated Tron. I just find it really interesting that it was like, wasn't there an IMAX screening for Tron Legacy? And they were like, yeah, all right, so Tron 3's not happening now, so it's a remake. So I find that really fun. When did they decide this 3 days ago? I don't know when it was decided.
It was an improv question.
Right. Yeah, they're like, I don't know, I guess we're rebooting Tron, we're remaking Tron. But I think Tron could benefit from having a remake, and I think that Jared Leto is a good actor, so I'm excited to see where they go. Hopefully they do it well.
There's a few guidelines I have for when I think something is worth doing a remake. It has to be over a certain amount of years old.
Yeah.
It has to be able to benefit from modern technology, and it has to be a movie that maybe a good chunk of today's movie-going audience hasn't seen. I think there's a lot of people out there who've seen Tron Legacy that never saw the original Tron.
Right.
In that regard, I think it's kind of a cool idea. Will Leto be sending dead robot mice to his
circuit boards, fried out circuit boards.
I don't know. I don't even know what the bigger story here is. I don't know if the bigger story is that Jared Leto is kind of maybe in line to be in a Tron reboot, or the fact that there's going to be a Tron reboot instead of a follow-up to Tron Legacy, which a lot of fans were asking for. I just think it's an interesting decision in the first place that they've decided to reboot instead of continuing the story. Because I really thought, while it was looking less and less likely, deep down I still kind of thought at some point Disney's going to want to go back to that Tron Legacy world and pick up where they left off. They seem to have a plan for that when they put out Tron Legacy. You clearly see they had a plan to make this an ongoing franchise, but apparently they pulled the plug on that. They're going to go back to square one, start with the reboot. And maybe that's not a bad idea. I don't know, Mark, what do you think?
My emotions on this, John, I feel like Clark Kent in Superman 2 when he's in the bar and he's just not there. The superpowers just aren't. It's just nothing's happening. This is not moving me emotionally at all. I do not care about this in this moment in time. I thought Tron Legacy was pretty cool. I've never seen the original Tron.
Have you not?
Sorry, I've never seen the original Tron. I'm sure it can benefit from updated effects and all that sort of stuff. But I thought that's what we were doing with Tron Legacy, where we were continuing the lore. So instead, now we're going to go back and reboot the whole thing. Jared Leto is not a guy that gets me out of bed in the morning when he's associated with a franchise like this.
Ashley just smiles. What?
It adds
does the opposite
nothing
for me.
to it. Sorry, Ash. I'm not a fan of Jared Leto. Sorry, Jeremy. I'm not a fan of Tron. I just pissed everybody in this room off in the last minute.
I'm just shocked. I thought every kid had that parent here you go, kid, watch that Tron thing. Me and your ma are gonna go out. I thought we all experienced that, but
was your dad one of the jerky boys?
I've never met someone my age who hasn't seen Tron. I find
Hey,
that
Jimmy, quit studying school. Start reviewing movies.
It's real.
You got a future in it, kid.
What do you think?
It's because what Mark said. It's because it's not getting me out of bed out of the morning that I think that it's a good idea to reboot it, because I did see the first Tron and I thought that it was a smart move to try to do a bigger movie at part two, and I liked it better than most, I think, too, but it didn't really do anything for the franchise to get people so excited. We need a Tron 3. I think that people were hoping to see it because there was so much expectations of what the second one could be that weren't met, that if we got to a third one, maybe they could even expand it more. That's why I think that if they reboot it, and they can even add some things very similar to what we talked about with The Last Starfighter, how the games and stuff had kind of changed. They could use, going back to what the arcade system was for the first one, they can kind of do for now consoles and things of that nature, and online games, however they want to do it. They could add that to the reboot, that they're not kind of handcuffed by the rules that were set in the 1982 version or whatever it might have been. So I think it's a good movie. You're going to try to do it, and I wouldn't be sad if they said, well, we're never doing a Tron movie ever again. But the fact that they're going to try to reboot it and put some new life into it, I think it's the smart play.
It's not terribly surprising, because I remember Disney was very excited about Tron Legacy, and they put a lot in that movie, nearly a $200 million budget. They put a lot into the marketing as that thing as well. And they were, internally, they were thinking $750 million this movie is going to make worldwide. This is going to be huge. Ended up making $400 million, which most filmmakers would give their left testicle to say they put out a movie that made $400 million at the thing, but it was almost half of what Disney was kind of expecting. So not really super surprised that they decided to put the brakes on it.
Do I have to be a filmmaker for the left testicle thing, or can I just give you mine for $400 million?
$400
million on the table. I mean, I'll make a movie.
Just a currency
I'll make a
exchange?
movie.
for like $100,000 after you get to
Turn on
4
an
million.
iMovie and you and I can shoot something.
All right, what's next?
It's Monday, which means it's time for the weekend box office report. Fox's R-rated Logan tore the competition apart and shattered expectations, opening in the #1 spot with $85.3 million. Coming in at #2 was Get Out. The movie only dropped 22% in its second weekend, grabbing an impressive $26.1 million and bringing its domestic total to $75.9 million. At #3 was new release The Shack, taking in $16.1 million. The Lego Batman movie took the #4 spot with $11.6 million, with its domestic total now at $148.6 million. And coming in at #5 was Open Roads Before I Fall, taking in an underwhelming $4.9 million from 2,346 theaters. Mark, what do you think about Logan's opening weekend?
My big takeaway is that Logan poster is ass-kickingly awesome. That looks like classic late 70s, early 80s. Burt Reynolds could have been Logan back in the day, ladies and gentlemen. $85 million. That is awesome. It's well above expectations that people had, even as recent as a week ago. But I'll be honest, the biggest story from this weekend for me is Get Out, dropping barely 20% at the box office. Still, with competition, a lot of people saw Get Out, probably wanted to go see Logan. That's amazing to me. And The Shack, too. I'm not going to say it was like totally a faith-based film. It wasn't a God's Not Dead situation. But I think a lot of that audience wanted to go see The Shack. That's why it did so well, and it crushed Before I Fall. So three impressive performances in the top 3 here, John.
Jeremy.
I started laughing because I was like, Before I Fall, that's the movie I saw a trailer for on TV, and I was like, when's that movie finally coming out? I saw a trailer. I guess it came out this weekend. Oops, the reviewer didn't know that. That's probably why it made $7. Yeah, the story I love the fact that Logan made $85 million, was expected to make less than that, cost $100 million to make. Once again, just like Deadpool, they're saying that, like, wait a minute, you mean we can make rated R comic book movies and they can crush? It doesn't detrimentally damage our property or anything like that. So I think this is a huge thing for comic book movies in general. I know rated R comic book movies have existed before, but the fact that they can have the momentum that Deadpool and Logan have had, that's what makes it different. I love the fact that Get Out has gotten the good word of mouth. Like the reason it only dropped was it 20%? You said?
Yeah,
22.
Yeah,
22%. It's because, people watched it and they were like, "Hey, that movie's pretty solid." So more people go watch Get Out. I expected to see it on the top 5 for sure next weekend. Also, again, The Shack was one of those things where I knew The Shack was coming out, but I just didn't see The Shack because I just had a really packed weekend. And Lego Batman's still holding on. I'm glad Lego Batman's holding on because it is a proper spoof movie in the vein of spoof movies, and we thought spoof movies were dead. It's not. Now they're Lego movies, and good job, Logan.
I think Lego Movie also, because it's really, right now you look at that top 5, the only thing you can take your kids to see also. When that's the case, it's always going to kind of hover in that top 5 for sure.
Well, you can take them to Logan.
You can take them, right? I know, it's true. And you really want to say, this is what life is going to be like one day.
You can take him to The Shack, too. It's like, hey, if one of you bastards goes disappearing, I'm going to go hang out in the
You want to hear
cabin.
something crazy about that? When I went to the screening for Rock Dog, right, which is a
You love this movie, Rock.
No, I do not. But what I will tell you about this movie, Rock Dog, is it is like a G-rated animated film. And because the same studio did it, they showed a thing for The Shack right beforehand, like a full trailer.
Yeah.
My daughter was scared out of her mind. It's like I'm not gonna go missing. I'm like, close your eyes. Like, we'll watch just singing Rock Dog in a second. So that was a stupid move on their part. But I don't know what Before I Fall is. I hadn't heard about it until 5 minutes ago. So it doesn't. $7 is generous. Get Out is the big story for sure. Is that with word of mouth and the fact that it can make $26 million on its second week, going up against a movie with a similar audience in Logan. It's great. Logan making $85 million is a great show because you're right. It's Blade and Kingsman. There's been tons of other rated R comic book movies, but when you start to get a character like Wolverine, who has been so in the forefront of commercial superhero movies and be able to do that, $85 million, you're going to see more of it. You're going to see, but hopefully they don't overdo it and they do it like Logan did. They fit the story and make it work. The tone was perfect in this movie. Very similar to Get Out. I think it's going to have a small drop-off because the word of mouth has been so good and people have really been enjoying this movie. Comic book fans, movie fans. So this makes sense that this lineup looks the way it does.
No, it's great for Get Out. Get Out is a really good, enjoyable film, a terrific directorial debut for Peele. I thought it was a great movie, and yeah, it dropping only 22% that's fantastic. That's astronomical. I still think that the story is Logan. Like just 2 weeks ago, Fox was projecting they were hoping to make 60 million opening weekend. Now it beats out by like 55, 56%. It's $85 million on possibly the best X-Men film they've ever done. I mean, this is terrific. I believe it's, you can fact check me if you like, I believe it's the second largest opening in the history of R-rated films. And the big advantage Deadpool had was that it was also comedy. It was big comedy, bright, whatever. This was different. I didn't know that this movie could make $85 million opening weekend. It's so good, and I think that's a word-of-mouth thing. And because this movie is so good, I think you're going to see Logan next week, especially when you're looking at, even with Kong opening and Beauty and the Beast coming 2 weeks after, but next weekend I think you're going to see Logan probably drop just in the 35% range. I think it's going to hang in there really tough because people are coming out of these theaters gushing about this movie. Now people who weren't going to go see it are going, oh, maybe we should go check this thing out.
The only reason it might have a little bit of a bigger drop off than say something like Get Out is because Kong's going to bring in some business.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Granted, it's rated R, PG-13, but still, it's the same commercial audience, so it'll probably take a bigger hit than Get Out did, but it's still a nice drop off.
Oh, it's going to be a dogfight at the theater this
Yeah.
weekend between Logan. If it only
Ape
drops
fight.
by 40%,
Oh, all right.
$40, what? With Rock?
said
Every time I say dog, you think Rock Dog.
Said
You go
ape
back to that theater.
I said ape fight.
You imagine that magical time that you had at
Rock
Ape
Dog?
Dog. Yeah.
Don't judge the Rock Dog. You don't know what that dog went through.
I haven't seen Rock Dog. I haven't seen it. I got to check it out in the Shaq preview beforehand. Here's a fun fact. Logan, $85.3 million opening weekend. X-Men Origins Wolverine opening weekend, $85.1 million. And then The Wolverine, only 53 opening weekend. So R-rated movies, you can make them and they can be successful.
All right, guys, reach that part of the show now for a buy or sell. Here's how this works. In front of her, Ashley's got a few other items in the world of movie news. She's going to run them down. Then those of us at the table are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell. So, Ashley, what do we got?
Disney has revealed the first look at Mary Poppins Returns, the sequel to the 1964 musical classic that starred Julie Andrews and Dick Van Dyke. Based on the Mary Poppins story by P.L. Travers, the movie is set in 1930s Depression-era London and finds kids Michael and Jane all grown up. After Michael suffers a personal loss, Mary Poppins, played by Emily Blunt, returns, along with an optimistic street lamplighter named Jack, played by Hamilton creator/star Lin-Manuel Miranda, to help the family rekindle their sense of magic. It is set for release on Christmas 2018. Kristian, buy or sell the first look at Emily Blunt as Mary Poppins?
I mean, I'll slightly buy it. Bless you. I'll slightly buy it. I think that it's. I could go to Disneyland and see anybody wearing this. Does she look like Mary Poppins? Yes. I am way more excited about the movie than Mark Ellis is. I think that Emily Blunt is incredibly well cast for this. I think that it's a good time to retell this movie this many years later. But the image itself, okay, great. She looks like Mary Poppins.
You know, there was a time when I, much like Mark Ellis, was grim and dull, saw no light, the sun didn't shine for Mary Poppins. But you know what? Gradually, a little bit by little bit, I've been getting more excited about. I don't know why. I don't know how that transition happened. But maybe it was the more and more that the cast that got added. Maybe it was more and more hearing Emily Blunt actually talking about it, and then seeing this role. It's that tangibilization again of it's kind of real, and you see that the aesthetic that they're going for, it feels very much like Mary Poppins again. So look, I'm not jumping out of my chair about this. I'm not like looking forward to this as much as I'm looking forward to say like a Wonder Woman or the next Star Wars movie, but I am feeling my enthusiasm for this getting a little bigger. So for this image, I'm going to buy it.
I just want to address Kristian Harloff in saying that the Mary Poppins at Disneyland is only wearing the white gown from when they were in the painting. That is brand new. You will never see that there, my friend.
It's a great hat, though.
It is a great hat. But Emily Blunt, as I've always been cautiously optimistic about this new Mary Poppins movie because Mary Poppins is a classic from my childhood and whatnot, much like Tron. Crossover. yeah. The Disney crossovers never. But Tron most certainly needs a remake. Mary Poppins I was a little more cautious about, but Emily Blunt is the perfect casting for a modern-day Mary Poppins. And that premise, that picture mixed with the synopsis I just heard right over there about little Michael's grown up, he suffers a loss, so Mary Poppins comes back because Mary Poppins was always about helping the parents find joy. It wasn't about the kids, you know?
Right.
When you're a kid, you think it's about the kids. Then you see Saving Mr. Banks, you're like, what did I believe all my life? No. It's all about the parents. And at that point, I'm absolutely. I'm buying this for sure. I'm looking forward to it. I think she's great. Just everything just came together right here in this moment. Let's go to the banker over here who says, Toppins humbug. What do you think?
Well, to quote Billy Madison, more like boron. Am I right? Look at that bag, Grandma. You going to Laughlin to play the nickel slots? Who cares?
Borophyll.
I'm not upset at this picture. I'm not. It's again, I'm not getting out of bed. Ashley, I'm not getting out of bed for your boy Jared Leto. I'm certainly not getting out of bed for a Mary Poppins sequel. The guy's an adult and he suffers a loss and it's like, go to work. Shut up.
I'm gonna make a prediction. I'm gonna make the same prediction that I for La La Land also is that you didn't give a crap about La La Land. You didn't care about the musicals. I bet you that he's teary-eyed. I bet you he's raving about this movie after he sees it. I know you so well. I guarantee you that you're gonna love this movie.
Mary Poppins 2 could be my rock dog, and I'm gonna give you the credibility. To say
She doesn't have a guitar, man. It ain't happening. She doesn't know how to rock those strings.
As far as the first image of a movie goes, I actually think this is pretty cool because you're not revealing anything. You're just teasing us with those notes of nostalgia. So, job well done on the picture. I don't care about your movie.
And with that joke, we have now promoted Rock Dog more than the studio has.
You know what's funny is I imagine you like Bill Murray in Groundhog Day, just like neck deep in your bed, not getting out of bed for anything, like get out your booties because it's cold out there today. As the camera pans up from you, you are every adult that Mary Poppins ever tried to save, my friend.
I don't remember her saving the adults. I just remember her babysitting some kids, throwing some sugar in their mouths, and then leaving. Right? Is that?
Look, but I'm really glad you brought it up because, like, seriously, I can't say this enough. If you guys have not, and I know a lot of you haven't, if you did not see Saving Mr. Banks
So
with
good.
Colin Farrell and Tom Hanks, watch Saving Mr. Banks because it will, number one, get you really revved up to watch a Mary Poppins movie for sure. But just on its own, it's a brilliant film that I actually thought Colin Farrell should have been nominated for the Academy Award for.
I don't know.
that.
I'm getting revved up to watch Mary Poppins.
You will get revved up,
I'm not
sir.
like I just saw Tom Hanks' Walt Disney. Vroom vroom. Put on the pop.
You're gonna get out of bed for that one. I promise you.
All
that.
right, what's next?
Variety reports that Michael K. Williams, known best for his role in The Wire, has joined the cast of Lucasfilm's young Han Solo movie in an unknown role. Filming is already underway, and we'll see Alden Ehrenreich in the iconic role of Han Solo, alongside Donald Glover's Lando Calrissian. Thandie Newton, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Woody Harrelson, and Emilia Clarke are also set to star, with the movie directed by Lego movie directors Phil Lord and Chris Miller. The Untitled Project will be the first Star Wars movie since Disney purchased the rights, hitting theaters in the summer on May 25, 2018. John, buy or sell the addition of Michael K. Williams in the young Han Solo movie?
Oh, huge buy. Look, it's never a mistake to add talent. This guy's a huge talent. He's had such great success. And he's had a lot of diversity as well in the characters that he's played. I can't wait to see what he brings us. I have no idea what kind of character he's playing. For all we know, he's just going to be motion capture. Who knows? But when you add this level of talent, it's always good news. So for me, it's a buy.
I'm going to buy it because just the fact that Omar looks like he fits in this Han Solo. I mean, you see the two of them standing next to each other, you're like, oh, okay, that character should be in Han Solo. But I feel like this is we have done so many buyers, sells with him joining stuff, and I don't think anyone will ever or should ever sell it because he's great. I mean, even in that horrible Assassin's Creed, he was still Michael K. Williams in that, and you're like, okay, at least he's on screen right now.
Why did you have to bring that up?
I forgot he was in that.
But when he's in it, you're like, well, you felt that a little bit. Okay, well, at least he's going to get me through this scene because it's him, even though he's this horrible dialogue, everything else. But we're not going to have that problem with this film. He's going to fit into this universe, so it's a buy.
Jeremy.
Yeah, Omar coming to a galaxy far, far away, my friend. You can't sell that. This is a huge buy because, like you said, he looks like he just fits into it. If I had to put my chips on anything, my bet on anything, it would be that he is playing a bounty hunter. It's like so obvious that he's playing a bounty hunter that I feel like they're going to go another direction because it's just such a no-brainer. Absolutely. This world can always use another scoundrel, bounty hunter, smuggler. Omar, let's do it. Buy it.
Mark.
I mean, John, I've hit the snooze button twice already today, but I am getting out of bed for this guy being in Han Solo. I'll take some of that $400 million that my left testicle got me, and I will buy this story. Because this is always a guy who brings a backstory to whatever movie or TV project he's in. He's got a tale to tell, and I love when Star Wars does that. When we might not even see a lot of it in this particular movie, but you know that he's going to be added to the lore, that when all the books that Kristian reads, there could be a standalone novel about this guy's character, and I love that kind of stuff. He's not just showing up for screen service. He's actually has a role to play in this universe much larger than just what he's going to factor into the Han Solo movie. That's why I get excited about Star Wars in general and why he's a great addition.
All right, guys. Well, listen, as we like to do, this show is live, and so we like to take a little bit of time at the end of the shows to take your live Twitter questions. You can start firing in those questions now. Just make sure you're following us on Twitter at Collider Video. Send on in your questions, and Wendy will pick out a couple near the end of the show. But I want to remind you, the Movie Talk is not the only show on the Collider Video channel. As a matter of fact, a little bit later today, the brand new TV Talk drops with Josh McCouga and his crew. Also, over this weekend, a brand new Crash Course, Where Has Luke Skywalker Been? Drop. Make sure you go check that out. The new Walking Dead recap show went online last night. Of course, our March Movie Madness Villains Tournament is now up. The voting is open. Just find the video, and the link for the voting is in the video description. And of course, a brand new Awesome Tacular dropped once again in the show notes of this, in the description of this video. You will find a link to that show and something everybody's been waiting for. I believe it's today. We are dropping the original animated Beauty and the Beast DVD commentary with who's in it? Wendy's in it. Ashley's in it. Natasha's in it. Sinead's in it. You're going to want to check this out. It is a lot of fun. So once again, start firing your questions. But before we get to your Twitter questions, let's go to our mailbag. Ashley, what's in the mailbag today?
Philippe writes, hello, Collider crew. I recently rewatched E.T. with my girlfriend, and I thought of something that I can't get a proper answer to. Is E.T. canon to the Star Wars movies? In Star Wars Episode 1, I believe you saw E.T.'s race of people in the Senate seat. So is it canon, or is this part of an alternate multiverse? Or is George Lucas a prophet of the Church of the Forest telling true tales of a galaxy a long time ago?
It was just fun.
Yeah.
It was just fun. It was just him putting in a little something fun for people to see and go, oh, look, it's that. It's any more than there was a scene in J.J. Abrams' Star Trek where the Enterprise is flying through a debris field, and there's actually a little R2-D2 in it that they put in there. That does not mean that Star Trek and Star Wars are in the same universe. It was just fun. It was an Easter egg for the fans. It meant nothing more beyond that. Do you know anything more about it?
I don't know anything more, but I would say, look, whether or not I agree with it or not, I think that the species is probably canon. It's in the movie. So the species itself. Now, whether or not that ties back into the story of E.T. going to Earth and all that stuff is canon, and I don't know. But the species, it's in the movie, so I would say it's canon.
John, I cannot believe you just dismissed the one link that is tying a galaxy far, far away to Earth. This is vital. Philippe, thank you for bringing this to our attention. I want E.T. to be considered a Star Wars canon movie.
But it's not, though. E.T. himself is not. The race is that we don't know that's E.T. That could be,
but that's
his
enough of a link.
great ancestor.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, so that was like his grandpappy. But still, E.T. being on Earth, this is exciting to me. Let's say that race of beings actually factors into a Star Wars movie, right? So then it can be extrapolated that down the road they're going to have E.T. and he's going to go on some space mission to Earth. Maybe he's looking for kyber crystals on Earth.
Here we go. I'm going to use Wendy's logic and reason over here. All right, so
Nathan Fillion's going to be
Nathan Fillion
put
is
him in
going to
everything.
be in Star Wars. And, all right, so the ETs are in the Phantom Menace. ET comes to Earth. Star Wars takes place in a galaxy far, far away. So the logistics of a being of that species coming to Earth is just astronomical, and it probably wouldn't happen. Other than that,
Yeah, ET technology, it's a lot easier.
Other than that, Elliot has Star Wars toys, which means Star Wars in the world of E.T. is just fictional entertainment.
Well, you could also say when E.T.'s walking, in Halloween, and he sees
sees
Yoda,
Yoda.
and he reaches out to
He
Yoda.
recognized Yoda.
Yeah.
Because it's all an Easter egg.
This
It's
is
all fun.
Turning
I'm with
into a very
Campea on this
sweaty,
one.
stupid conversation.
This is the nerdiest conversation I think we've had on here, and it's one of the best ones, my friend.
Please, I think this is a lot better than the heartwarming story of your dad sitting in front of Tron, okay? This is vital to everybody who loves Star Wars or E.T., because E.T. does recognize Yoda in the movie E.T., the extraterrestrial, and it's almost like they had a statue of Yoda, because Yoda's dead by the time E.T. takes place. So if E.T.'s like, oh my God, that'd be like us, seeing a statue of, the Hannibal, and be like, oh my God, that's the guy with the elephants. He clearly recognized them. I think this has merit, and this means that the term penis breath can now be canon.
Sorry,
Cannibal the
are
Cannibal?
you suggesting that E.T. then was a Jedi because he was able to make the bikes fly?
No, but maybe.
That's a theory that's actually gone out there.
Yeah, that's a theory out there.
Yeah, but I got something better than this nonsense. Michael,
I love how your phone is open. You're
because
Googling
it.
this.
I wasn't Googling. I got a tweet that Michael K. Williams.
Yes.
What if he played Cad Bane? Which is very, very.
Is that E.T.'s dad?
Yes.
I would be more than down with that.
Yeah.
He would be great.
And he's got the voice.
I don't know that they're actually going to have Cad Bane in this movie,
possible.
but if they did and he was playing it, that would not be
great-
some bad casting
Yeah,
right
that is
there.
Cad Bane's not dead.
No.
No,
As
no,
far
no.
as I know, he's not.
Great
That's it.
suggestion.
Especially at that period of time.
Yeah, right.
He's not dead
Or
yet.
the earlier days.
All right, guys. Hey, listen, we accidentally skipped over a topic. I accidentally skipped over a topic. We're going to be talking a little bit of Rise, a little bit of Anton Yelchin stuff. Ashley, what is the story?
According to THR, Rise, a sci-fi short film directed by David Karlak, is headed to the big screen. Warner Brothers has picked up the rights to adapt the story about a dystopian future where robots are being targeted for elimination after developing human-like emotions. The late Anton Yelchin starred in the short as one of the AIs leading the rebellion. The story is based on a screenplay Karlak wrote with Saw writers Marcus Dunstan and Patrick Melton. No release date has been set. Kristian, buy or sell an adaptation of Rise into a feature film?
Yeah, I buy it. There's a lot of cool stuff in there. I mean, I got elements of Ex Machina in there, Ghost in the Shell. I mean, it looked like the good guy version of Terminator, to where the machines are rising up, but except that they're the good guys this time. It's, the fact that Anton Yelchin was in this movie, the short, and then he's the one that really is going to start getting. Obviously, got the will for it to get made because he probably had an amazing performance, and they said, well, we can actually turn this thing into a feature film. There's no doubt in my mind that had he still been alive, that he probably would have been playing this character in the feature film. I think it's something interesting to explore. I love this kind of futuristic machines kind of taking over, but in a new version here to where they're the good guys. I could buy it.
Jeremy.
Yeah, I buy this for sure. There are two things that are a tale as old as time, and neither of them are love. Beauty and the Beast lied to you, and that is machines rising and mankind being afraid of that, which is different from them. And when I was watching this, it really does hit you that you're like, okay, this is going to be like Terminator. I've seen this before, but the execution is different from what you've seen before. Because like Kristian was saying, it's like you understand why these machines rose up. It's like that. One of the better episodes of that Animatrix, where you see why the machines rose. You're like, that was actually really cool. It reminded me of that. And it really kind of bummed me out because if you think of the premise that artificial intelligence is an inevitability, you give it enough time and it's going to happen, you really do see that in a world where people are afraid of what's different from them, and we live in a world where we see that daily, even if we get past that, we'll then live in a world where it's us versus machines, So you really do see that there's going to be no time in existence where people are not divisive in nature, and it kind of bummed me out. Yes, I thought about all that when we were watching this trailer.
Wow.
I'm not gonna lie, it just actually bummed me out, which is effective, which means the short film is effective, which means I buy a full-length feature film.
Oh, I buy me watching this thing, watching more shorts in general. If they're of this quality, this thing was fantastic. Now, as a feature film, it did feel a little bit like every Neil Blomkamp thing I've seen all kind of mashed together. Like there were notes of like what Chappie should have been in this film. But obviously seeing Anton Yelchin is a very emotional experience to watch that guy and realize he's no longer with us. I thought he was great. Rufus Sewell was also awesome in this. I don't know that it's going to be a great feature film simply because, as Jeremy and Kristian pointed out, we've seen premises like this, but I'd be willing to take the risk based on the quality of this short. I also got like a Planet of the Apes vibe, the new one, because it's these beings that we created, and we're the ones that made them this way, and then it got out of control, but not at a point when they're evil. They're actually good, and now we're just afraid of not being the best race on Earth anymore, the primary, the top of the food chain kind of situation.
We're no longer the apex.
Now look, do I want to root for the robots? Yes, I do. Do I want to root against humanity? Yes, I do. If this was happening in real life, would I be terrified of robots? Probably. This is why I leave my iPod on shuffle.
I loved this short. I watched it for the first time today. I mean, I hadn't seen it. I'll be honest, I hadn't even heard of it before. Watched it today. Look, I think this short, it was only like 4 minutes and 50-something seconds or whatever. Like, it's a short film, but this short film was better than any of the marketing I've seen for the new Ghost in the Shell movie. I mean, I thought it looked awesome. It looks incredible. And I don't know what virgin blood Rufus Sewell is drinking, but that dude has not aged a day since 2001 when he was in A Knight's Tale. I mean, like, seriously, that dude has not aged a day, which is kind of crazy. I thought it looked spectacular, and now that I know that they're making a movie out of this, I'm actually really quite excited about it. All right, now it's time to get to your Twitter questions. Once again, make sure you're following us on Twitter at Collider Video. Wendy, what have you picked out?
Real quick, I just want to read off a fun fact somebody sent in about the E.T. thing. So Itamar Avidan writes, the name of the E.T. character in Star Wars is Grebslebskid. It's Spielberg spelled backwards, giving him the homeworld of Brodo. I don't know if that makes sense to anyone, but I found it slightly
Intriguing.
Makes a lot of sense to me. I'm steep in E.T. and now Star Wars canon.
New novel.
All right, and the first Twitter question comes from Jabberwocky, who writes, Beauty and the Beast has a lower score on Rotten Tomato than Kong does, yet people are saying it's a better movie. What gives?
I think it just means in the Rotten Tomato world, if 95% of the people give it a C, an average of 70%, then it's going to have a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. It looks like more people liked Kong Skull Island than Beauty and the Beast, but I feel like the people who liked Beauty and the Beast may have liked Beauty and the Beast more than they liked Kong. That's the way I can say it.
And from what I've heard, the people that I've talked to with Beauty and the Beast, certain critics I know, I think that they are unfairly, a lot of them that I've talked to, unfairly comparing it right away to the animated film. They're like, well, it's too much just like the animated film right off the bat. And I thought there was a lot added to it, and I'm not taking away from what their opinion of the movie. I just think that from the people that I've spoken to, unjustly judging it. And then I'm the exact opposite with Kong, is where I think there's a lot of people that are enjoying elements of that movie that I thought I got roasted for saying that I thought I would have liked a little more character development in Kong. And some of the fans, how do you want character development in a Kong movie? I don't know, because I wanted a good movie. But to be fair, I didn't care about that in Pacific Rim. Mm-hmm. But I think there's just different expectations all around the board. So who knows? It's just the way you watch movies, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
One of the pet peeves I have about film fans and film critics alike is that automatic jump to whether it's a reboot or a sequel or a reimagining, the instant that we now have to compare it to the previous part. It's like, I can understand drawing comparisons, but don't judge it based on the comparison. Take the movie and judge it on its own merits. Is it good or is it not? Forget how it compares to the previous one, and fine, in your evaluation of it, draw the comparisons, but finally, when you're going to make your judgment on the film, judge it based on its own merits. Did it execute well as a movie? Was it fun to watch? Did it have fun characters? Did it have good dialogue? Did it have, intriguing, plot twists? Whatever the criteria you're looking for, judge it on its own merits. Like the Deadpool thing. I just didn't like the Deadpool spot just because I didn't think it was all that funny. I'll draw comparisons to Deadpool's original marketing because that's applicable, but I judged it based on whether I liked it or not, period, on its own merits. I just wish people would do that more. Now, I have not seen Beauty and the Beast yet because I was away when the screenings were going on, so I haven't seen it yet. So I have no idea. But for a movie like Kong, which I gave a positive review for, I can see it being it's a fun movie to watch, but it's not something you're going to be talking about a year from now. Mm-hmm. So I can kind of see how that discrepancy, if you will, in like a Rotten Tomatoes meter would come into play. Mark, how do you see it?
I mean, I can see people wanting to penalize Beauty and the Beast over Kong simply because Kong did take the lore of Kong and Skull Island and put it in a different direction that we hadn't seen before. Like, this movie is not only a standalone film, it's hoping to launch a franchise, whereas Beauty and the Beast, it was meant to be pretty much note by note with some added mythology in there of the animated Beauty and the Beast. But like, look, I think people get very competitive when they look at Rotten Tomatoes scores. And look, I love sports, okay? I watch them, I analyze them, I play them at a professional level, but I don't think you can look at the Rotten Tomatoes score and say, oh, well, that movie is better than this movie because of the percentages. Mm-hmm. You have to look a lot deeper than that. And Beauty and the Beast, for my money, is a much better film than Kong Skull Island. I had fun watching both of them, but Beauty and the Beast is magnificent. That beast is, well, he's a buffalo.
Different strokes, different folks. That's pretty much what it means.
All right, what's next?
All right, this one comes from A Run D, who writes, will Wonder Woman or Justice League reference events that happened in Suicide Squad? Each movie has reflected the previous movie in the DCEU so far. Will that continue?
I think it will, even if it's just minorly in passing. Well, Wonder Woman, less likely, because it happens in a different time period. Right. So Wonder Woman, much less likely, unless a lot more of it happens in the present than we're aware of, but I don't think that's the case. In Suicide Squad, there was a mention of what went on in Batman vs. Superman. It was brief, but it was mentioned. I suspect at least something on that level will happen. What do you think?
Well, they did it in Lego Batman. I think it's possible in Justice League for sure, but the other thing is, are they going to change some stuff up moving forward and maybe kind of brush what they've done so far to the side and really focus on the future? So I wouldn't be surprised if they don't.
Out of hand, I would say no. I don't think Wonder Woman references Suicide Squad in the slightest, unless, how long do crocodiles live? Because like you can have like a young killer croc, like a little baby killer croc running around, because they're like dinosaurs, right? They live like 200 years. How long do crocodiles live?
I have no idea.
I'll check it out while you guys are talking about it.
And a reference of the Enchantresses thing. They might be able to reference that thing that was lost so long ago from something or other. But yeah, I think Wonder Woman is not so likely unless it's also a post-credit scene, which everything has except Logan. Good job, Logan. And I imagine that Justice League's going to be like, the bad guys got together. That didn't work. So let's get the good guys together. So that will probably reference Suicide Squad.
70 to 100 years.
70 to 100 years. So if we're in the early 1900s, there's a chance we see a little baby killer croc with like a diaper, like a Bugle Boy jacket. It'd be funny.
All right, last question of the day.
Okay, this one comes from Joe Self, who writes, I love the combo of Deadpool and Superman's theme. Legally, how did they pull this off since we're talking different sides?
It's simple. You buy the rights. You say, hey, if we cut a check, can we license this music to play in this property? And they agreed. So it's really as straightforward as that. Anything else to add to that?
Yeah, you know more about it than I do. I can promise you that. But I do know that the rights to a character or a property are much more deeply rooted than the rights to a song. You can buy a song for
What I'm curious
marketing.
about, though, with that, sorry, Jeremy, to cut you
It's all
off,
good.
but I think that with John Williams, I wonder how much of that they have to go through the John Williams channels or have to go to Warner Brothers when it comes to that particular piece of music. A lot of times it's
I'm sure it's Warner Brothers.
a lot of times the answer to that is yes, but with John Williams it's a little trickier. I mean, he probably obviously gets paid for them using that.
I'm sure he
obviously.
gets a royalty. Yeah.
I would assume that it would be going through Warner Brothers first, but you never know.
It might be an ASCAP situation too, where that's like the company that licenses a lot of music for you. Like if you want to play music on your podcast or even on the radio, they bought licenses to play that stuff. So I don't know if that also transfers into film, but it's not always cheap. Like if you want to use a song in a movie, it's like it's not quite hundreds of thousands of dollars, but it can be anywhere from $30,000 to $60,000 or $70,000 to use a song in a movie.
It's almost the exact budget for Deadpool 1.
All right, guys, that'll do it for us for this installment of Movie Talk. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to thank the guys sitting around the table. First of all, over there, Mr. Mark Ellis, where can people find you?
You can find me on the Schmoes Know live show this Wednesday night, 7 p.m. PST. And this weekend, I will be drinking a lot in Wisconsin, Milwaukee on Friday night, Green Bay on Saturday night. I get to go to Titletown, USA, guys.
Mr. Jeremy Jahns.
You can find me at Jeremy Jahns on YouTube and Twitter and the rest of the internet. You can find my show
Jeremy, speak up. Stop watching Tron so much. Plug your stuff.
Awesome-tacular on the Verizon Go 90 network, where we do a lot of fun, nerdy stuff. Be there. You'll love it.
Mr. Kristian Harloff.
Thank you, Mr. John Campea. It would be Twitter and Instagram at Kristian Harloff. And make sure you check out the movie trivia Schmodown. We have 2 matches. We got the debut of the Nerds Watch, Ken Knapsack and Rachel Cushing going up against Tough Beats. And then on Friday, the Beast, William Bibiani, gets back in the ring going up against Elliot the Mountain Dewberry.
Over there at that table, of course, we've got Miss Ashley Mova, in or out of bed for Jared Leto, I suppose. Ashley, where can people find you?
Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Ashley Mova. Happy Monday, guys.
And, of course, Wendy Lee.
On YouTube at the Movie Couple channel and on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat at Wendy Lee Zaney.
And you guys can simply follow me on Facebook and on Twitter, just at John Campea. That'll do it for us, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. Until next time, bye-bye.
Hey guys, if you like this video, click the thumbs up button. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It'll help you stay up to date with everything we've got going on here at Collider.